I feel like I've seen this one before. A new Overwatch killer has just hit the scene. It is called Concord from PlayStation. It will be coming to PS5 and PC in just a couple of months. So, I am going to take a look and see how similar is it to Overwatch. What is it? What it's all about? Is it actually an Overwatch killer? All the good stuff I've done many times with all the other things that have come out recently. So, here we go. This is Concord. This is a 5v5 hero shooter. It is coming again to PS5 and PC day and date together. This is a PlayStation developed game that will be coming to PC right away, which is kind of crazy to me. I feel like that is very new. They don't like to do that. They like to keep their exclusives on their consoles for a couple years. But this is a shooter, a competitive, it seems, shooter. So it makes sense that it would come to PCs right away and in just a couple months, like full launch in a couple months, and we'll get into all of that later. But yeah, here's a couple of the heroes that are in this game. They've got some names that I don't know yet. We'll take a look. We're gonna kind of go through this whole blog post here and talk about it. But it is a first person, again, hero shooter. All the heroes have their own abilities. And it looks a little more like, I'll play a little bit of the trailer here. It looks a little bit like Destiny and how it plays, like how the gun feels, or like the gunplay looks to me at least. Very traditional, like arena shooter, which is kind of what Overwatch is, but obviously all of these guns, it looks like you can aim down sights, which is something that Overwatch doesn't have. And that is a very different thing with the game flow, right? Aiming down sights and the moment to moment gameplay flow is different when you can do that consistently on all of the characters, or at least most of them. There you go. There's another one doing it. But yeah, they've all got different abilities, and just based on this footage, everyone's got different guns, different weapons. I mean, that's very Overwatch-esque. But yeah, I'll go ahead. That's basically, and it goes on for that for a while. There are a couple things I want to talk about that we will get to in a second. But first, let's just talk about, they say that this game has been inspired, obviously, by other FPSs, but also, they say, fighting games and strategy games. Which, obviously, there's always strategy involved with things. So, fighting games, I guess it's more of like, they kind of want like that combo potential and being able to like have kits that flow together within their characters. And then for strategy games, they are talking about some really weird things where between rounds and stuff, there are certain abilities and like that characters have. Like there are characters that may have like a Winston bubble type thing, or like a wall that they can place, or a trap or something that will continue and exist between rounds. We don't know if they're like breakable or if they'll go away when they're deployed, but it sounds like between rounds, the maps and how you play the game is going to shake up, like change based on what you did in rounds prior. So to me, the maps so far look like the objective is probably going to be like a more traditional shooter, like hardpoint, maybe even just TDM, capture the flag, search and destroy, any of those kind of game modes from like tactical shooters like COD. I don't want to call COD attack shooter, but like a COD shooter, Destiny type, less so than like super map based objectives like Overwatch and like Marvel Rivals now. But the big thing is that between rounds, things are probably going to change, which is an interesting concept. And we'll have to see how that plays. Again, we haven't seen any like real gameplay other than just kind of snippets and very little screenshots, which it looks like this screenshot is not from this game and they made a mistake. But yeah, that's kind of it. We haven't really seen much of the gameplay other than that. We'll have to see more very soon we'll see some more. But I want to point out two very, very big things about this game that I think are very important. So, you will notice that this game is only coming to PS5. And if you are looking at the screenshots here, I think this one exemplifies it the best. There's a lot of stuff on screen that looks very, very nice. I do not know how well this is going to run on most computers. It is a PS5 exclusive. It looks very good. Obviously, the graphics are going to be maxed up in the trailer, but questions about optimization, about lesser graphics settings, all up in the air. For a potentially competitive shooter, especially one that takes from strategy games, right? This needs to run on a lot of hardware if it's going to be on PC, right? It not being on PS4 is a little concerning to me because of that, because it is kind of telling me that, lower end computers, like ones who would be able to play like most competitive games like League or Overwatch or Valorant on, might not be able to play this game. That's a bit of a problem. We've already seen that with Marvel Rivals, how the optimization isn't that great, and even people with good computers are struggling to get the performance that they really want. So people with lower end computers are really taking a dip. That is a big flaw if that's the case. Like, if this is going to be a game that's not going to run on all machines, they need to be careful, right? They need to like actually think that they have something on their hands here that is like sustainable, or like really, like if it's only going to work on the best computers, they like it's going to have a dedicated fan base that can play it. I think the single most interesting thing here about this game is that this game is paid for. This is not a free-to-play game. It says it right there, pre-order, starting June 6th. And you'll get beta access, and apparently if you get beta access, you can give a key to 4 of your friends so you can all play, so they all don't have to pre-order it, which is actually a very nice touch. I don't think it should be, beta access shouldn't be behind a pre-order in the first place. I think that is dumb, but at the least you can give your friends opportunities to play with you in a full squad. That's cool. But again, let's get back to the topic at hand. It's a pre-order. It is a real video game that you buy and you have it. That is the case, right? There's going to be 16 distinct free gunners, heroes, agents, whatever you want to call them, at launch. They will be showing us more in the coming weeks and months. And after launch, free post-launch content updates that introduce playable free gunners, maps, modes, and cinematic vignettes. Oh my god, another thing. I think the coolest thing about the actual game itself here is the cinematic vignettes. They were talking about this in the trailer. Basically, once a week when you log in, you are going to be greeted to a new cutscene that expands on the interactions of the characters outside of combat. So basically, week after week, you will be getting more info about how these characters interact with each other, what their personalities are, tidbits about the world that they're in, about their past, their history, maybe their hopes, desires, all of that. I think that's really sick. I think Overwatch has done a pretty decent job about like melding narrative and gameplay and like having the character's personality shine through in the hero shooter genre in first person, right? Lots of good animations and voice lines and all of that really tell you like who these characters are. But having the actual story progress over the course of your live service game, that is really sick to me. Like, actual narrative. It's not just outside of the game. Like, this is every time you log in, like once a week, you have a new thing to watch, a new story tidbit, a new interaction between characters. That's awesome. That's actually like insanely cool. I wish other games did that. Like, now that I've heard that this has happened, I'm like, step it up, Overwatch. You could at least give us like a little bit of like text interaction or something. Like, this is really cool. And obviously, like, I think the idea here is that like this game, since it is like you pay for it up front and there's going to be a bunch of post-launch content, it's probably going to be a little light at launch, and just like over the next couple months it will become that fully priced game. And I don't really like that model that much, but it's better than free to play, that's for sure. So yeah, that's Concord. Apparently, we've known about this game for a year. I'm pretty up to date with things and like video games and what's coming out. I had completely forgotten about this because they probably just showed us a cinematic a year ago. But now that I've seen this, I'm very intrigued. I think this has a lot of potential. I already see a little, like a couple flaws here and there, but this is really interesting. This is yet another hero shooter coming out a couple years after Overwatch 2. And this one is from a first, like, in-house Sony studio. Firewalk, I believe their name. I think they were recently acquired by Sony. But this is a seemingly AAA video game in the space of Overwatch. You know, Marvel Rivals, I wouldn't exactly call that AAA. Deadlock is Valve, obviously, but that's more MOBA than it is. This is closer to that arena shooter style gameplay that Overwatch is. And it's a hero shooter. And it's going to be on PC. And it's going to be paid for. And I think a lot of old Overwatch heads are going to really appreciate the fact that you can buy it once and just have the game and be able to play it with no strings attached. We'll have to see how they actually monetize it. There is no way. We all know this. There is no way this game is not going to have any kind of microtransactions. This is just how this works. But the main content, it seems like you just buy the game and you have it all. That's really good. I'm really interested to see this. You know what? As the game gets closer to launch, I'll probably cover this more and more on this channel as well. But for the time being, there isn't that much that we've seen yet. I just wanted to give my quick reactions literally right after this state of play. I'm filming this. So, yeah, that's it. If you want to see more of my videos, it is mostly Overwatch. But, you know, what if Concord seems to be your thing, then I'll probably talk about it a couple times and make some videos on it in the future. So, if you wouldn't mind doing any of that good, like, comment, subscribe, YouTube stuff, it does really help me out. If you want to get in on these discussions live, that's going to be twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. If I somehow get into this beta, I doubt I will pre-order it, but if I get into this beta, I will play it on stream. And I will obviously be playing this game when it comes out as well. But yeah, other than that, if you want to get in and join in on my Discord, it's in the link in the description. The rest of my socials are too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.